This is Jeremiah. I said I was finished with science. I decided to give you two more. Let me share something with you. There are so many playlists here that it's going to require discipline, just to get through the playlists here. I wanted one condensed playlist available, and I'm going to have to make one. We're going to have to do something here. So until that's done, you're going to have to do a lot of scrolling. So, and it's not something that you can't do. There's only a little bit of scrolling to do at this point. Okay? But it is something to consider in the future. To get some sort of page up there that has everything on it and enumerated. Okay? That goes for the entire playlist that's available on this channel. Until that happens, though, let's move on. But it is something I want to share with you. This is Jeremiah with the New Covenant. And I've decided to give you two more science, heaven and earth basics. I'm not going to go into Darwinism or Freud and Fromm or something. We're going to leave all that alone for now. However, I do have something coming up for you as a condensed version of what I have. I already have a pretty condensed version up there now, without much details pertaining to false science and so forth, or falsely named or called. If anybody knows Greek as Paul the Apostle, then it means I know. And if you say something I know and you don't know it, then you don't know it. That's the way it is. And a lot of people are saying they know something, but they really don't know it. That's what Paul is saying. The gentleman that we, of course, listen to adamantly. This is Jeremiah. He's on fire. I got Zechariah open today. We're going to look at heaven and earth, basic science. As I wrap up a quick look at science, before we do, I want to give you a quick look at what we're doing for the month of May. We're getting away from the month of May right now, the matrix. But before we get to science, because I'm giving you a sneak preview as to what's in science, my videos that are available for you here, okay? No, I'm just touching on a few items. I have about 30 items I'm going to touch on, and then I'm going to let it go, okay? It's a little lengthy when you get to the science lessons themselves that are available here. You have to scroll down, and there they are, okay? Because I have to do something about putting up what's available here for you as soon as you go to the page. I haven't done that yet, and we have to get to that so that when you come to this page, you see everything. Somehow, we have to do that because it's going to create problems until we do have a front page here that has a table of contents. Otherwise, people are going to get lost and scroll and get lost and all of that. Now, that's the way the format is now, where you have to go to the playlists and just go through them. But we'll talk about that later. I'll talk about that some more. But I'm going to go into science for a video or two and get away from the May matrix. Now, science is going to be added to the May matrix probably this month, officially. We're talking about different subjects, but we're focusing mainly on the May matrix, which is 9 subjects at this time, okay? Now, let's go over those 9 subjects so we don't get lost here. And then I'm going to give you an overview of a lot of science, okay, that's in the Bible. I think it's really important for you to do that. It's not necessarily required as what you might call living bread. However, it is the living word. Let's put it that way. Let's get going. Jeremiah greets you in the only name amongst men whereby you must be saved. And we're here to get saved. Paul told Timothy, you get on the stick, boy. And if you do, you're going to save your soul. Because you have an office, and you have to maintain that office. You can't let TV preacher types or whatever's bothering you with youthful desires or whatever, you can't let that get in the way of you getting on the ball and becoming a steward of the Word of God, a responsibility of teaching properly and sticking to the format. You're not only going to save other people, you're going to save yourself. Loving the Lord your God in an office, that's what saves you. See, the grace of God and the finished work of Jesus Christ saves you so that you can have a love retort. Your love retort is required. However, it's not something that we itemize as salvation. We itemize it as you do love the Lord, but not as that which saves you. Now, you might get confused, but the point is that you're saved by the finished work of Jesus Christ. Then he tells you to go love other people. If you don't go love other people, then you're not saved. Which means you're not saved by your works, and it's not of you. However, you're going to have a love response. See, the love response is not something that whereby we keep track of what you do. That's what we Protestants teach, and that's what separates us from most of the world, is that we don't have a perspective whereby that you can save yourself by doing things. However, it's very important for you to understand that in light of all of this, it's still required of you to take your love to a high level. See, that's the high calling of Jesus Christ, is for you to develop a loving personality. And you're going to have to do that. Now, how you do it, when you do it, and so forth, we Protestants, we teach here in America and elsewhere that we don't follow you around and check you out to see if you are loving and so forth. We don't do that. However, we will observe you. James says he will observe you. You say you have confidence in being a loving person. I want to see some evidence that you are confident in being a loving person. Faith without love is dead. You tell me you have confidence in being a Christian, but I don't see any love activities around here, then you may not be saved. However, we're not a cult or a cult or a heresy. We don't follow people around and harass them. We don't have blue stars on the wall. That's the difference between a Protestant and a non-Protestant. Most human beings, they have something whereby that they keep track of what they do in order to be justified before God. The Hindus go to the river to cleanse themselves. They risk their lives going to the river to cleanse themselves through the mountains. Because you have to cleanse yourself. Once again, that is not Protestantism. The Catholics say you can give money and you can get a wife or a husband by going and doing this and doing that, and that's a heresy. That's Babylon. That's confusion. We don't teach any of that. However, some people get confused. They think that you can come in the church and have a party and you don't cultivate actions of love and care and helping out. That's not what you were saved for. You were saved so you could be productive and have much fruit in loving people. And when you don't do that, then you're not saved. That's the point. Judas was called, but he wasn't chosen because he didn't cultivate the opportunity and foster caring for people and loving God. He didn't do that. He kept staring at the gold. You could turn your TV on and see people who are obviously staring at the gold of their job. They're not really. How can you have 50,000 people come to your so-called church and you don't shake any hands at all? That tells you right there that they're not there for you or the people. They're there for the money base. That's all this is. And it's old as dirt, it's old as Cain. This idea of having some sort of relationship with God on the earth whereby that you are not a caring, you want to seek God's will person. A lot of people have a problem, and that's part of my job here, is to let people know that Protestantism it is a, we don't follow you around. You're not saved by what you do. But a lot of people don't understand that Paul said that we establish the law. In other words, you're saved by grace, but you're saved by grace so you could go out and establish righteousness. You weren't saved by grace so you could do what you want to do. You were saved by grace so you could establish a life that glorifies God in doing the right thing. That's why we teach what we teach here, so you could cultivate doing the right thing. And we have the Ten Commandments that helps us out. We don't throw away the Ten Commandments because I'm saved by grace. Most Americans believe that. I belonged in a couple of ministries, and one or two of the ministries, they said that you can kind of do what you want to do. You're saved. It doesn't matter basically what you do. Don't worry about it because you're forgiven. So why worry about it? So Billy over here leaves his wife. Frank over there leaves his wife. Cindy leaves her husband and the children, and she goes to Las Vegas or something. And so what we have is Babylon and confusion. We don't have a church anymore. We have I'm saved by grace, Jude, book number 66, 65. Turning the grace of God, Hebrews 10, Jude. We're taking this whole thing and we're going buck wild with it, and we're not the real deal anymore. The real deal is to be saved by grace so that you could go out there and really foster a lot of good deeds to please God and help people. And to maintain a good image for your family and the people around you. And you can't do that like the bass player here a couple of years ago who ran off with another lady, came back with a lady right in the church. And his wife didn't do anything wrong, evidently. So that means he's committing adultery. That's just simple. But yet, since we're saved by grace now, he can do what he wants to do. Huh? He can go murder or whatever. He can do anything he wants to do. That's utter nonsense. You are saved by grace for you to start establishing the things that please God, which are righteousness. Now, there may be some difficulties in doing that, but to give a presentation that you can go buck wild, and all, that's utter nonsense. It's not biblical at all. And it's not the grace of God either. The grace of God is for you to be forgiven and saved so you could cultivate doing beautiful things. I was saved so I could do ugly things. That's nonsense. I get it all the time as a Bible teacher. I had roommates who said that basically. What are you talking about, man? We don't have the law anywhere. We don't. And Paul said in Romans that we establish the law. That's what I do here. I establish the law. We're getting ready to go into the Ten Commandments here any day now. The Ten Commandments are still extremely significant. There was a gentleman who was a library there in the desert. I used to live in the desert there. There was a library in the desert. And there was a gentleman who got out of the library and he started preaching. He started talking about, he was saying that the law and the Ten Commandments are everything. He was saying that the Ten Commandments mean everything. It's the end to all. Well, he was wrong. But was he completely wrong? No. See, that's the point. If Paul says we're saved by faith and we establish the law, that means that you were saved in order for you to get on the ball about teaching, doing the right thing. A chicken can figure that out. I don't care how many millions of thousands of people don't understand what I just told you. It doesn't change the fact. There's a big university right down the street here called Wesley University, Wesleyan. They teach what I just told you. I think they're pretty much Methodist. So the point is that they agree with me, this university right down the street here. The entire university. They agree with me that we're not here to party and get saved. We're here to preach righteousness and to preach holiness. But we don't preach puritanical holiness. We don't do that. That's the difference between a Protestant and other people. The Hindus believe they have to go to the river once a year and get cleansed. You have to do it. So it's performance based. You're getting yourself together. We don't have performance based activities here in order for you to be just before God and forgiven and so forth, cleansed. But most of the world does that. The Muslims do it, the Hindus do it, the Buddhists do it. Everybody does it except for guess who? The Protestants. And we're the most hated people pretty much in the world because of that. Because we fight against pride. The devil is pride. And pride is, I accomplished something. And when you come to the Protestant church, like the Wesley people down the street, they teach you can't boast about anything. Paul said boasting is excluded. Therefore, we are strict structuralists to the sound doctrine of this book right here. We're simply obeying what Paul said. Boasting is excluded. But most of the world, the boasting is not excluded. It's inserted. You develop your own honor. We don't teach that. We teach that you respond to loving Jesus Christ by putting on righteousness. And you're very serious about it. Now, if you have problems with that, then you join most of the people who have become Christians. If you start having Paul's Romans problems, because you're fighting your flesh, your history, the devil, and people. Everybody's against you owning your soul. Even yourself. But if you get your Bible study going, your prayer going, and hopefully you'll find yourself a nice Wesleyan kind of church around the corner here, or an Amish church down the street, or a Mennonite over there, where we have real Protestants around here. Now, of course, we've been infected like a disease here because they have people who worship a woman on the wall over there. Right around the corner, there's a picture of a woman flying across the room, and they kneel down to that woman. Okay, that's why we teach the Ten Commandments, because the number one commandment is, thou shalt not have any worship other than me. So they're breaking the number one commandment, and is that okay? Are we all cool with that and so forth? No, I don't hate those people. As a matter of fact, one of my best friends in college years ago was a Catholic. He liked to hang out, go to the beach and so forth. I don't have some sort of adverse or some sort of hatred or anger towards people who are lost. No. However, what they do is detestable. That's the point. Because they're not focusing on loving God and Jesus Christ. They have affection over here, and I love that woman across the room, even though she's dead. I like that man, the statue over there. That man's a very good man, so I'm going to kneel down and kiss his feet or something. This is all Babylonian nonsense. You're not supposed to do any of this. And because we Protestants know this, we're hated by a lot of these people who are involved in these activities. How dare you tell me I can't go to the Indus River and cleanse myself? Only honorable people are good people. If you join Mr. Buddha, Buddha said, throw your body on the rocks so you can feed the lion cubs. That's called mental illness. Buddhists are partially mentally ill. We Protestants would never tell our children over here to throw your body on rocks or something. That you know what that's called? That's called insanity. And yet it's very popular. I turn my computer on, they have women, and especially women, a lot of these women, a lot of men too, they have their legs folded and their arms out, and they're opening up their body to super health and good food and, the chi and all of this. They belong to a mentally ill realm of people. Furthermore, they've been exposed to the opportunity to serve the living the Son of the living God, and they're rejecting it. And what's going to happen to them? They're toast. If you have an opportunity to serve Jesus Christ and you don't do it, you're T-O-A-S-T. You're toast. Oh, they look so nice, and they're minding their own business, and they help people over across the street. Listen, Bible teachers who are Protestant teachers, we don't waver from teaching your accountability to your opportunity. That's a big part of this ministry and all Protestant ministries. We had a song in church years ago, "Call on the Lord while he may be found." It's a big part of Protestantism. It's not to see people on TV or on the web or something. Oh, they're nice people. Billy's a nice guy. Has Billy repented? That's our first question. Has he confessed his sins to the one he has offended, God Almighty? Yes or no? We're not upset. We're not bothering Billy. It's just that that's what we do here. That's our modus operandi. It's not very complicated. Fourth graders can figure this out. And so if there are millions of people or thousands who do the Buddhist thing and cross their legs and do, or they go do this and they go do that, or they join the Muslims who say that the God has no son. That's the first way of cursing yourself, is by saying that God has no son, because that's your only way to be saved. So that makes them straight up Antichrist. Why? Because they're attacking the number one goal. The number one goal for Adam's children, and they are Adam's children, is for them to go to the Son. That goes for people here in America who worship sports. There's no difference between them and the Muslim or the Buddhist who tries to cleanse himself, or the Hindu, or everybody who's doing everything but just relying upon the finished work of Jesus Christ and applying the power of the force of God's energy to perform for the Lord in some church office. That's all this is about. I was talking with somebody here the other day, and they basically told me they don't have an office. And I was like, you don't have an office? You need to seek an office. Even if it's cleaning toilets or painting churches, whatever, you got to find something. Let's put it this way. You need to find some sort of business card for the church. You don't have to have a business card. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, when Paul is talking to us, he's telling us on many occasions, the church, to root yourself in something. You got to get something down on the ground, like getting up in the morning and getting some worship going or something. You need some sort of a concrete pattern. Instead of getting up, a lot of people I meet who are church dwellers, they get up and they don't know what they're going to do. Some of them are on SSI, some of them they're laid off and they're unemployed, they're getting unemployment, or they're working and they just have no schedule for nothing. I want to watch a basketball game tonight. What are you going to do tomorrow? I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. What are you going to do next Thursday? I don't know what I'm going to do next Thursday. I'm free to do what I want to do. Yes and no. Jesus called his disciples for a reason. They have discipline. Discipline is required. You cannot be my disciple if you don't take up your cross daily, which means you have to take up discipline every day. Now, we're not hyper-disciplined. We're not going crazy with discipline. It's just that your life is going to, we're going to see if you have some discipline in your life based upon the way you carry yourself. Some people don't even get up and shower and clean even though they have a shower. That's lack of discipline. And when somebody has an office, they have a church, they have a bus to take people in, they give out Bibles or something. That's discipline. You have to have some sort of evidence that you love God based upon discipline. Love is discipline. I learned that from my parents. My parents didn't talk about love that much. They just did it. They were disciplined. And that's love. If you come to my house and you want to live in my house and you don't clean up and all you do is talk and complain, you're going to get kicked out of here because you're not disciplined. And you don't love me or yourself, maybe. You don't love has discipline. Period. End of story. I love you, Billy. I'll see you next year. If you need some help, I can't help you. That's not love. I'm saved by grace. I don't have to really be responsible with you, I joined your painting team, but I throw the paint everywhere. You don't care about the team. There's no care in your heart. Because if you cared, you'd do a good job. You think Jesus wants people following him who are just sloppy all the time? Who really don't do a good job at what they're supposed to do? I went over to Sister So-and-so's house to clean it up, but I didn't want to do a good job. Let's get to the science lesson. Before we do, let me give you a quick peek into what the merry, merry month of May here. What is the merry, merry month of May? Well, May is known for being the most beautiful month of the year for a lot of people. It's neither too hot or neither too cold. Now let's get into the May matrix for 2023. This is Jeremiah with New Covenant. Let's get back to what's germane for this month, which is every day I'm gonna have probably a lesson for you, or two, or three, or something. Well, not every day, but just quite often I'm going to record some videos whereby I'm going to share with you what we're dealing with this month out of the 52. We have 52 annual subjects. I'm going to select some of the 52 and we're going to look at them. That's what the May matrix is, okay? So this month we have number one is the introduction of what we call sound doctrine or new covenant. Number one is new covenant. I've already went through it. We're not going to go through it again today. It's an agreement offer, and the agreement offer is for you to take in truth. Since you and your grandparents wanted to take in lies, and you opened your ear up to lies. So Jesus comes and knocks on the door and goes, hey, Jeremiah, you and your family over there, you guys are really stuck into a lot of lies over there, aren't you? Okay, I want you to start listening to me now, and I want you to make a commitment to the truth now. And instead of you being, I care about my family today, but next week I don't care about them, I'm going to transform you into a caring person, really caring. That's what I want you to be. So get your tail over here and listen. And we have quite a few subjects which we call sound doctrine. And the number one subject is that which is germane to the New Testament, which is the New Covenant, which is commandments. What has the Lord commanded me? God told Joshua, have I not commanded you? That's what a lot of this is. Take up your cross and follow me. Repent and be baptized. Do it or don't do it. That is the question. That's it. Now in this call to humiliation, there's a call to holiness and a call to taking your love game up and your care game, your forgiveness game, as they say here in America, if I can use those words to make a point. So you're going to do this in real time. And you're going to use these scriptures in Bible study so you can make sure that you're guided properly in all of these activities. And that leads to, after you've gotten your living bread, that leads to wisdom. And now we find out whether you're wise or you're unwise. The wise person will take in these commandments. That's why it's called living bread. Some people put it on their table like I do, and I eat it every day. That means I'm going to live. Every word that proceeded from the mouth of God, those are scriptures that tell me God's going to provide food for me, and scriptures that tell me that God told me to get off my can and go love people and so forth. There's a lot of things that you've been told in the Bible, in the different subjects. And wisdom is to take them all in. And wisdom is someone who is faithful. You were confident in doing the right thing. You were confident in eating humiliation, allowing humiliation every morning when you wake up. That's confidence that's saving the soul. That's confidence to the saving of the soul. And there are different types of confidences that we have in persuasions. The things that we don't fully understand, but we're still persuaded. And that persuasion, the key persuasion, is the blessed hope, or the blessed persuasion. I'm getting out of here. I get to go be with Jesus Christ personally, and that's the big persuasion. That's the big one. That's why it's called blessed, because you're in a position of being blessed when you're with the presence of the Lord, in the presence of the Lord. I can't be really blessed around here because there's just nothing but hell on earth. You have to be careful calling yourself blessed on the earth. You need to qualify that. It can be a little dangerous, but we won't go into that right now. So that's it. That's the matrix of the month. All you have to do is add agape to that, and then we added 2 more components, which was the royal law and grace and mercy. That's it. Now I'll get back to this tomorrow. Maranatha. We'll be right back with heaven and earth.